Mary stood at the bottom of the stairs, her heart pounding like thunder. In front of her, two heavily pregnant women glared at each other across the living room, both claiming to be carrying the child of the same man, Jun Seo, the Korean billionaire she loved. His family watched in stunned silence. And Mary? She just stood there, unwanted, unnoticed, and utterly heartbroken. Just a few months earlier, Mary's life was nothing like this. She was a quiet, graceful African woman working in a noisy manufacturing factory in Busan. The machines were loud, the shifts exhausting, and the atmosphere colder than the weather. She was known for two things at work: her deep dark skin that glowed even under fluorescent lights, and her thick accent that made the Korean words she spoke sound like a melody. But not everyone liked the melody. Some of her Korean co-workers whispered behind her back. They laughed at how she said "Annyeonghaseyo," mocked her braids, and once even called her the Dark Ghost. Yet, Mary never lost her poise. Every morning, she walked into that factory with her head high, her uniform neatly pressed, and her lips wearing the softest pink gloss. She believed in grace, even in pain. One chilly evening, everything changed. Mary was walking home, tired and silent, when a black Bentley pulled up beside her. She paused, confused. The window rolled down, and inside sat a man in a charcoal suit with eyes that seemed to smile before his lips did. "You dropped this," he said gently, holding out a handkerchief. Mary blinked. She didn't even know she had one. "I saw it fall when you crossed the street," he added, his Korean clear but kind. "Ah, thank you," she said, bowing slightly. She reached for it, their fingers brushed briefly, and for a moment, the world paused. His name was Jun Seo Kang. CEO of a luxury tech empire, son of a powerful family, and one of Korea's youngest billionaires. But that night, he didn't look like a billionaire. He looked like a man simply fascinated by a woman he couldn't ignore. From that day, Jun Seo started showing up. At her bus stop. At the corner food stall she liked. Sometimes he didn't even talk, just waited until she smiled at him. Mary didn't want to fall. She had seen how cruel the world could be, especially toward black women in foreign lands. She kept her guard up, avoided eye contact, gave one-word answers. But Jun Seo didn't give up. He learned Swahili phrases from YouTube. He brought her Kenyan tea leaves. He even once waited outside her apartment with hot jollof rice, though he messed up and used too much pepper. She laughed for the first time in weeks. And slowly, very slowly, she let him in. He wasn't just rich, he was thoughtful. Protective. Gentle. And when he held her, he made her feel seen in a world that often chose not to see her at all. Then came the family dinner. Jun Seo, proud and smitten, invited her to meet his parents at their mansion in Seoul. Mary wore her best dress, a soft emerald green one that hugged her curves and complemented her skin like moonlight on night water. She practiced her bow, rehearsed greetings, and brought a box of African handmade gifts for his family. But the moment his mother saw her, everything went cold. "You brought her," she said flatly. His father didn't even look up from his tea. His sister smirked and whispered something that made the others chuckle. Mary stood there, holding the gift box in both hands, her smile slowly fading. At dinner, they spoke only in fast Korean, ignoring her completely. The meal was fancy, delicate seaweed rolls, gold-trimmed plates, but it tasted like ashes in her mouth. Afterward, Jun Seo's mother pulled him aside. Mary could hear the words even though she wasn't supposed to. "She is not your type. She will never be one of us." That night, Jun Seo held her hand tightly in the car. "I'm sorry," he said. "They just need time." Mary forced a smile. But deep down, she knew, it wasn't just about time. It was about tradition. Status. Skin. And the fact that no matter how good she was, she would never be Korean enough. Still, she stayed. Because love, when it feels real, is a dangerous thing to walk away from. But Mary didn't know, her biggest battle hadn't even started. It would come with swollen bellies, jealous hearts, and two women from his past who refused to let go. And when they showed up pregnant, her whole world would shatter. Mary heard soft giggles coming from the guest room upstairs. It was 7:03 a.m. She had just finished preparing breakfast when Mina, the first ex, walked down the stairs wearing Junesio's oversized t-shirt, the same one Mary had bought him. After the disastrous dinner with Junesio's family, Mary thought things couldn't get worse. She was wrong. Junesio stayed by her side. He defended her. He ignored the cruel comments from his relatives, blocked out the gossip, and promised to protect her. For a few weeks, things felt almost normal again. He even gave her a key to his home, a large, modern mansion tucked away in a quiet area of Seoul. "I want you to feel safe here," he said one evening, wrapping his arms around her in the living room. "This is your home too." Mary believed him. She started decorating small corners of the house with little African touches, a colorful fabric here, a beaded bowl there. She filled the kitchen with the warm aroma of spicy stews and soft fried plantains. For the first time since arriving in Korea, she started to breathe a little easier. But peace didn't last long. One chilly Saturday morning, Junesio's ex-girlfriend, Mina, appeared at the gate, crying, holding her stomach, and claiming she was pregnant with his baby. "I didn't know where else to go," she sobbed as Junesio and Mary stood in stunned silence. "I haven't been with you in months," Junesio muttered. Mina looked at him with wet eyes. "But the doctor says it's about 8 weeks. Junesio, it has to be yours." Mary's world began to spin. 8 weeks? That meant he had been with Mina shortly before they became official. Her mind went blank, her hands cold. She looked at Junesio, waiting for him to deny it completely. But he just stood there, silent. His family wasted no time. They embraced Mina immediately. His mother sent a driver to pick her up. His sister posted a photo online captioned, "Welcome back, Mina's sparkling heart family is everything." The next morning, Mina moved in. Mary wanted to leave, but Junesio begged her to stay. "I don't believe her yet," he said. "I'll get a test. Please trust me." Mary, torn and hurting, stayed. But the house changed. Mina walked around like she owned the place. She decorated the guest room as a nursery. She changed the channel when Mary was watching TV. She called Mary, the help, during a family lunch. The family never corrected her. Not even once. One evening, Junesio came home late. Mary waited for him in the kitchen, hoping for a moment alone. But the moment he walked in, Mina ran up to him, placed his hands on her stomach, and said, "He kicked today. I think he recognizes Appa already." Mary quietly walked back to her room. She wasn't sleeping. She wasn't smiling. She was trapped in a mansion that felt more like a prison, with walls that whispered, "You don't belong here." And just when she thought things couldn't get any worse, the second woman arrived. It was a Thursday. Rainy. Gray. Mary was in the kitchen, stirring a pot of fish stew, when the doorbell rang. Junesio opened the door, and froze. There she was. A tall, sharp-eyed woman dressed in a black designer coat. Her hair was neatly tied, her face calm but serious. "I'm looking for Junesio," she said. "I need to speak to him. I'm pregnant, and it's his." Junesio turned pale. Mina, who had been eavesdropping from the stairs, let out a sharp gasp. The woman, Jiun, handed him a folder. Inside were text messages, receipts from a hotel, and a medical report with a due date. Mary walked out of the kitchen slowly, wiping her hands on a towel. She looked from Junesio to Jiun to Mina. The room was silent. No one knew what to say. 2 pregnant women. 1 billionaire. And a black woman who just wanted love. That night, Junesio tried to explain. "She's from a party I went to, before you. I didn't think anything serious came out of it. I swear." Mary didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared at the wall, her thoughts louder than words. Love wasn't supposed to feel like this. She had given everything, her trust, her heart, her pride. And now, she was one woman surrounded by two exes, both claiming to carry pieces of the man she loved. And what hurt the most? The silence of the man who once promised to fight for her. Mary stood in front of the bathroom mirror, brushing her teeth. But it wasn't her reflection she was staring at, it was the sound behind her. Mina and Jian were in the hallway, whispering about how to push her out for good. The billionaire's mansion was turning into a war zone, and she was the one bleeding quietly inside. It had been 5 days since Jian arrived, and only 5 days since Mary began to feel completely invisible. Jian moved into the mansion with the same boldness as Mina. She claimed she needed to be close to the father of her baby. She didn't ask permission. She brought luggage. Brought scented candles. Brought trouble. Now, two exes were under one roof. Mina took the guest room. Jian took the library and turned it into a nursery. And Mary? She remained in the smallest room upstairs, the one farthest from Junesio's bedroom. She hadn't slept beside him in days. She hadn't laughed in weeks. She hadn't been hugged, in what felt like forever. Junesio kept trying to balance things, asking Mary to be patient, asking the exes to respect the space. But there was no space. Not for peace. Not for her. One evening, Mary tried to speak up at dinner. I think it would be better if we... Mina cut her off with a loud laugh. A better idea would be for some people to leave and stop causing stress for the babies. Jian joined in, sipping her tea calmly. Honestly, Junesio, this drama isn't good for our children. Junesio said nothing. He didn't defend Mary. Didn't correct them. He just stared at his plate like a little boy caught between two angry mothers. Mary felt something break inside her that night. But she didn't let them see her cry. No. Not Mary. She cooked meals with silent strength. She cleaned the mansion without being asked. She smiled when she served breakfast. And when the women mocked her skin, her accent, her African name, she said nothing. They expected her to break. To fight. To lose her temper. But Mary wasn't going to be the angry black woman in their twisted story. She was going to be the one who rose above it all. Until one afternoon, everything changed. It was a Sunday. Bright and warm. The sun poured into the house like hope. For the first time in days, Junesio offered to take Mary out for lunch, just the two of them. He seemed sincere. You deserve fresh air, he said, looking at her softly. Let's go to that little cafe you love by the river. Mary smiled weakly and got dressed. She wore a soft blue dress that hugged her figure and wrapped a colorful scarf over her hair. She looked like royalty. As they left the house, Mina faked a sharp cry of pain and grabbed her stomach. Jian screamed, "Call a doctor," and accused Junesio of being irresponsible for taking Mary out while two pregnant women needed him. Junesio hesitated. He looked at Mary, then turned back. I'm sorry. I have to check if they're okay. Mary stood by the door, frozen in place. You said you'd protect me, she whispered. He didn't reply. He went back inside. And left the door open behind him. Mary walked out alone. She went to the cafe anyway. Sat by the river with tears in her eyes. Watched couples walk past, laughing, holding hands. Watched children chase birds. Watched the sun begin to set. Then she whispered to herself in Swahili. Hi sio mapenzi. Hi and I matiso. This is not love. This is torment. Later that evening, Junesio came to her room. Are you okay? He asked, standing by the door like a stranger. She was seated at the window, hugging her knees. I'm tired, she replied softly. Of being tested. Of being silent. Of fighting for a space that should have been mine. He stepped closer. I didn't plan this, Mary. I swear. I'm still trying to figure it all out. Mary turned to him. Her eyes were red, but her voice steady. You're not trying, Junesio. You're avoiding. There's a difference. For the first time, he couldn't answer. And that silence said everything. That night, Mary packed her things quietly. She didn't take much, just her passport, her Bible, and the little African necklace her mother gave her before she left home. She didn't even take the new clothes or gifts Junesio had bought her. She walked through the hallway where Mina and Jiyun now reigned like queens of chaos. They didn't stop her. They just smiled. And when she stepped outside, into the cool night air, she whispered to herself. They think I'm leaving empty, but I'm walking away full of dignity. The day after Mary left the mansion, Mina and Jiyun woke up to an empty kitchen, no breakfast, no warm aroma of tea, no soft footsteps humming behind them. But what shook them the most? Junesio's scream from upstairs when he read the envelope Mary had left on his pillow. Inside was a necklace and a note that read, I gave you my heart. You gave them the house. Mary didn't cry when she left. Not even when the cab pulled away from the mansion gates. She sat silently, her hands folded over her lap, staring out the window as the city passed by. Her suitcase was light, but her heart, though wounded, was finally free. She moved into a small studio apartment in Itaewon, a lively place full of culture and colors. It wasn't fancy. It didn't have gold chandeliers or marble floors. But it had peace. And to Mary, peace was priceless. Meanwhile, chaos ruled the billionaire's house. With Mary gone, the calm she once carried vanished. Mina and Jiyun couldn't stand each other. They fought over everything, from who sat beside Junesio during dinner to who deserved more space for their imaginary babies. Every day, they argued. Screamed. Broke things. One even threw a glass at the other. Junesio, already emotionally torn, began to crack. He ordered DNA tests. Twice. Both came back the same, neither woman was pregnant. Both Mina and Jiyun had faked everything. Mina used a borrowed scan photo from a cousin's hospital visit. Jiyun had paid a shady clinic for fake documents. Their lies had worked because the family wanted them to work. They didn't care for truth, they just wanted Mary gone. Now, with the truth exposed, Junesio's home was a nightmare. He screamed at Mina. Called Jiyun a liar. Threw their things out. But the damage had already been done. His mother tried to calm things down by saying, at least you didn't marry that African girl. That was the final straw. Junesio turned to his parents with fire in his eyes. That African girl, he said, was the only woman who loved me when I had nothing to offer but my presence. She never wanted my money. Never played games. And you all hated her, because of her skin. His voice cracked. You destroyed everything. Then he left. It took him 3 weeks to track Mary down. He searched for her everywhere. Went to her old apartment. Called her old factory job. He even drove around Itaewon hoping to spot her. And then, one rainy evening, there she was. Standing beneath a green umbrella, outside a bookstore, laughing with 2 little children. Junesio got out of the car slowly. His shoes soaked. His hair sticking to his forehead. His heart pounding. Mary, he whispered. She turned. Saw him. And her smile faded instantly. I know I don't deserve you, he said. But I needed to see you. She didn't speak. Mina lied. Jiyun too. No one was pregnant. I was fooled. But it's me who allowed it. I let you suffer, Mary. I betrayed you. And I can't sleep anymore. I can't eat. I just keep seeing you walk away, and I wish I had run after you. She looked at him quietly, her eyes unreadable. I miss you, he said, his voice barely above the rain. Mary stepped closer. Her tone was calm. Strong. Whole. You didn't just lose me, Junesio. You lost a woman who would have prayed for you when you were sick, cooked for you when you were tired, and stood with you when the world turned against you. He dropped to his knees. In the rain. In front of strangers. I don't care if people stare, he cried. Please, give me one more chance. Mary stepped back. You're not broken because I left, she said gently. You're broken because you finally saw my value, and it's no longer yours. Weeks passed. Junesio returned to the mansion, but it was colder than ever. His family avoided eye contact. His business started falling apart. The press got hold of the pregnancy scandal. Investors pulled back. Meanwhile, Mary began to glow. She found a new job at a cultural center, helping international students adjust to Korean life. She started a blog about her experience as a black woman in Korea, and it went viral. She was invited to speak at events. To share her story. To inspire. One day, as she stood on stage wearing a bright kitenge dress and smiling at a full audience, a journalist asked, "What would you say to the man who broke your heart?" Mary smiled. "I'd thank him," she said. "Because he taught me to stop begging to be chosen, and start choosing myself."
Hello besties! In this sweet story we learned that love should never cost you your peace or self-respect. No matter how deep the love is, never stay where you're disrespected. Walk away when your worth is overlooked. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like, subscribe and share. Happy New Month!